Your train vacation to Europe starts from rupees 99,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
I became a silly mad fan of his after watching probably one of his first works, which was Nadulo Koncha Pakataka.
Right.
I would like to see the world through his eyes.
Okay.
You know, the way he sees it. Heroes are replaceable.
Yeah.
Artists are not replaceable.
Hi Mamta, welcome to Galatta Plus.
Thank you so much.
So, there is this thing that you said once, which is that I'm very shy, I'm very unconfident, and I'm happy shooting a film. But when it comes to putting myself out there in terms of promotions, and I'm not really the best person. And here we are doing a promotional interview for your return to Tamil cinema, Maharaja. How have you gotten used to it?
Well, I've promoted many films, but this in particular does not feel like a promotion per se. I feel like I've always wanted to connect with you and have a chat with you, a chit chat. Just like we were. So I'm gonna take it as an extension to what we were talking about just before we started rolling the camera.
Right.
So I have gotten used to promoting films over the years, but do I experience a certain degree of unnatural feeling stress during the 2 weeks that I'm promoting a film? Yes, I do. I think there's a part of it. I love working. I like acting. I like performing in front of the camera. I like being curious about my character, but talking about the film and promoting the work, and sometimes you know that the product does not come out as well as
Okay.
we had expected it to. So talking about that becomes, it becomes a very, I don't like faking anything. That is number one, my problem. And I think even with social media, when you say putting yourself out there, a huge degree of it is putting a fake version of you out there too. I feel not all of it is, you might, the day that you're forced to post a picture because there is some content coming out and there's a there's a movie coming out, and you feel that there is a necessity, someone has asked you to, Mamta, be relevant at least this week. Make an effort to put a few pictures out, do some, photo ops and, put it out there. I might not be in the best mood to do that.
Yeah.
And so that selfie is a fake selfie. That's not there's no truth in that smile. So a part of it is tied to the artificiality of it.
Okay.
So maybe that's why, maybe it could be a false perception. And that could be because I don't think my career was built with the aid of any of this.
Right. Also, because it started in 2000.
I'm in my 19th year.
19th year.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, that's like
Yeah.
before any of this became such a
such a necessity, I would say.
necessity.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we move on to other things, let's talk about Maharaja.
Yeah.
So welcome back to Tamil cinema
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.
And this is probably a most high-profile project, and it's wonderful to see
It
you.
is. It is. Yeah.
So there's a couple of things I want to ask you about what you said during the promotions. The promotions. One is one very interesting thing that you said about Vijay Sethupathi is that a lot of people, of course, say that he's a good actor and all that, but you said something very peculiar, and I want to pick up on that. And you said he has a very philosophical approach to acting. Can you explain that?
He has a mind that articulates the process of life, okay, and nature. Anything that he comes across, the way he, regular people would just see it, call a spade, but he goes deeper into that. He observes the edges and the curves of that spade.
Okay.
And he does not speak from, there's a way he uses his words. I think he's almost in a levitational pose, and I think there's
This is
something about
normal.
that is,
Or
yeah, the
during-
way he sees things.
Okay.
So you start getting curious as to, I would like to see the world through his eyes.
Okay.
The way he sees it. He can easily convert something which appears as mundane as a phone, he can convert that into poetry.
Okay.
Something like that. There's something very intuitive about the way he sees everything in life is what I have always felt. And this I felt about him even before I met him in person.
Okay.
There's something about, it could be because of his choice in characters in movies. I know that he's made choices which a lot of actors wouldn't normally make. And neither am I someone who consumes a lot of Tamil cinema. I watched his work not even in a linear order. I have watched I watched Pizza. I always tell, yesterday I was asked in one interview and I said, I think I noticed him in Pizza. I started liking him in, what's that Money movie? Kasu Panno Dottu Manimali?
Sudakavam.
Sudakavu?
Yeah.
My respect for him multifolded when he picked up a film like Sida Kati.
Yeah.
And because he was still so young to
Yeah.
do a role like that.
Yeah.
And then I became a silly mad fan of his after watching probably one of his first works, which was Nadulo Koncha Pakataka.
Right.
You know, so, and that movie happened when I was living in the US. You know, that's when I watched this because I started meeting fans of Vijay Sethupathi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then getting to meet him in person finally was, so this person has turned out to be the person that I imagined him to be.
Nice.
So there was something, maybe it's his eyes or it has to be his bold choice of characters to begin with. Somewhere where he's not just cut out to be, it's very sad I say this, only a hero. What is hero? Heroism is, I think, it's created.
Right.
I think it is, anybody can projected, shot,
Yeah.
captured in a very heroic angle.
Yeah.
Right? You build a hero. I think it's built. But an artist cannot be built. They need to be born. They need to be born with something. Very few actors are there. I've come across very few actors in Indian cinema who are gifted like that. So he has a very interesting mind.
Right.
And I think that is what this whole thing is about, this
So
excitement.
you think this approach of his seeps into his acting?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, because there's a fragment of his mind's curiosity which is there that's creating some a drama that is not deliberate. He's able to bring that into every character of his, is what I feel.
Right.
I've always felt it. To this date, I did watch Maharaja, and he's brought some element of his own into it, and that is why I feel he's just been perfect in every. I can't imagine anybody else having played any of those characters that he's.
Right.
Whereas a typical formula hero kind of roles, one is heroes are replaceable.
Yeah.
Artists are not replaceable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Do you think you can like mention a scene where you were like with him and you kind of be more, a little bit more specific about what he did?
In Maharaja,
Huh.
I can't say that I was in that scene. But I mean, it's through the days of promotion that we'd been together and there was some exchange. So, because I was not present in that scene, the scene that I liked the most of his.
Right.
See, the film itself requires it is a slow brew, the film. The film is an experience. In fact, it'll leave you perplexed towards the climax. You will wonder, how did I get to this emotion? There's not one scene that I can pinpoint and say, this is the reason why I feel this way in the climax.
yeah.
It's a very slow sort of, I can't use the word on camera, but you know, it's a slow mind.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the actor has prepared himself to be able to shoulder what the director expected him to do.
Right.
And Sir himself, Sethu Anna himself told me that he had to be controlled because with experience, what happens is had happened to me as well. With Nithilan, the director, giving us such little input, not suggesting anything at the same time. With our experience, what we tend to do is we are curious. We want to do more for the character.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
can we put from our hand,
yeah.
right? But he's controlling us. We're steering up. No, he brings us back. Going down. So Sethu sir said that I was trying to bring in some dark humor because he doesn't know what Nithilan's plan is.
Yeah,
Right, for the larger picture. So it was very interesting. I think once Sethu sir landed in that space, what part of him is every part of him is acting in the same, you know, where is Lakshmi?
Yeah.
I think once you start watching the film, whenever you do get the chance to, please do. I think every hairstand of him is asking the same question.
Right,
You know, and
right.
that drama, I don't know if I see it this way because I feel so connected to him, but I've always admired. There should be something special about him for me to have felt. You know, he's one of my most favorite
And
actors.
no,
so,
and in a way, I kind of, you know, because I did want to ask you about your own acting as well.
Yeah.
But because you made the statement, it made me very curious because sometimes actors, co-artists observe things about their co-stars that people like us who are watching just a movie don't.
Yeah.
So the process is very fascinating. So thank
Yeah.
you for
Okay.
taking me
Yeah,
through
I know it
that.
was supposed to be my question, but then, I kind of, pivoted it slowly,
No,
onto
yeah. No, it
Sethu
actually.
Shah.
So the
Because
other.
this is the process. I was also controlled in the same manner.
Yeah.
There was a certain meter in which I had to stay. It was very hard because I didn't have a lot to do. So when there is not much and the director is not giving you much input, where do you stay? You're always left with a question mark.
Yeah.
So I did not know where my character is going to go with this. Is there going to, because I like to have a beginning, middle, and end, right? You would like to
Yeah.
think that there is a graph for the character. But when you're not told what that graph is,
Yeah.
how do you carry your emotion?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
emotion am I supposed to stay in? So that is completely at the discretion of my director now, right? So in this film, I would say this is definitely this is a maker's film.
Right.
Nithilan has made this film from nothing, from air.
Yeah.
Right. So it is amazing to work with a team that knows, work with a director that knows what he wants as
Nice.
well.
Yeah.
We can have all the experience that we want. But I think experienced actors also can do one more thing. Once we learn the craft enough and we're confident we're very secure in our own roles, we we can get ourselves to a point where we know, okay, my director is expecting me to unlearn and surrender all my experience and come here
Yeah.
empty.
Right.
He does not want anything from me. He wants me to be the person that he wants me to be.
Right.
Right. So it is, that process is very nice. Each movie it is different.
Different, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So about your own process, once you said something very interesting. I think it was during live. You said that self-sabotage is a very important part of an actor's repertoire. You need to be able to hurt yourself in order to bring something to your character. And again, I'm a little curious about this statement. Can you explain that?
I can't apply that to myself because maybe in some ways I am, but I'm very conscious and fully aware of what a lot of actors do. There is a fracture that they like to have in their lives. These fractures can be from their own life experiences because that is what emotionally impacts you the most.
Right.
So as long as you maintain a fracture in your life, there is still a part of you that is a little broken. And I think when there's a part of you that is a little broken, it is possible for you to be a little more available to feeling your characters because you're emotionally still open. There is a little wound there, and I think you can't be an all-knowing, closed-off person. I know everything and, I'm completely fine, healed, everything is going great. I feel you penetrate your characters penetrate you a little lesser,
Right.
and I think that sort of a fracture helps. Now, for example, in 5 seconds, how is it that an actor is able to cry? There has to be something that has to be emotionally true for that person.
Right.
A memory of a joy or a memory of of someone passing, or we recruit emotions from these fractures that we have in our lives. And fractures need not necessarily mean they're all sad and sob story and broken. The fractures can even have beautiful memories,
Right.
So I feel that this is just my perception, and I think I have used it. There was a large part of me that felt that for the longest time, maybe I am keeping my life fractured in several ways. And for me, it could have been my health situation.
Right.
Right?
But that was
Continuously,
not, sorry to interrupt, but that was not under your control.
it wasn't under my control.
Yeah.
So I don't think everything is controlled. I don't think these are naturally occurring fractures that I'm
Okay,
talking about,
okay,
not
okay.
keeping it.
Because the word self-sabotage is interesting. So it's like, you're saying I hold on to that.
So if you don't put in the work to heal from that negative experience, most people don't put in the work. They move from one movie to another, to a heartbreak, to a marriage, to a divorce, to another movie, to heal from the pain. People are moving very fast.
Okay.
I would say that I have definitely invested about 1 or 2 years of my time to reflect and to think, Mamta, what the hell are you doing to yourself? You're falling sick and you're running to do a film. You're doing that because you're trying to escape from the reality of the fact that your body needs a break.
Right.
And you've allowed other things to happen to you just so that you did those things to make yourself feel better. You get what I'm saying? So remaining in that mind space and not even allowing yourself to feel those things, or let us say introspect,
Right.
is a fracture. When you remain in that fracture and don't heal from these things, and you moved at a pace where you've not even spent a moment with yourself, What happens is at some point in your life, maybe it's a role that demands you to challenge yourself a little bit. You
Okay.
can use an emotion from that fracture because there's some part of you that is still broken.
Right.
You know, so I feel I did do that for a long time, but it also kept me in a vicious cycle of several relapses, unhappy relapses.
Yeah.
You know, with my health situation, and I felt that it's about time to heal from it, to come from a much stronger place. You know, and that has basically made me. There were times when I'm happy all the time. I'm living a very joyful life. Besides cinema, let us say I don't even have work, and I'm by myself in LA, and you know, I have this very, you know, intense script that has come. I'm like, man, how am I gonna get that sad? Like, how do I feel the pain of that character? Let us say it's a mother who's losing a child. It's a role like that that I need to do. I'm like, man, I don't feel maternal right now. Those are gone. Like, you know, those years are gone for me. Where am I supposed to recruit that pain from? You know, so I'm in a, so now like, okay, now I have to really act. You know, now I have to really become someone that is, and there's a little bit of that fakeness. I don't like not feeling something fully.
Right.
I'm someone who likes to feel everything very deeply and very passionately and intensely. I almost romanticize my, you know, my emotions. So I think that is what I meant by making that statement during Live's promotion.
Right.
The self-sabotage space, you know,
Yeah.
and I think most people do that.
Yeah.
Without realizing it.
Right. So, in a way, I mean, you are kind of talking about what used to be called the method.
Yeah.
But in a way, are you saying that a wholesome person who comes from a very happy family and who's had no negative experiences cannot be a true actor? Are you trying to maybe say that? And I don't mean this in a bad way.
I've had no negative experiences is being in denial.
Right. Something must have happened. Right. Like a
100%.
pet cat died or
It's
something.
life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
In life, several things happen. How much time have you spent in making peace with that situation?
Ah.
That is what makes you understand that emotion too. You need to allow yourself to be fully vulnerable
Yeah, yeah.
in every situation. A lot of people are scared to be vulnerable.
Right.
If you haven't allowed yourself to feel that emotion, how have you experienced that situation?
Right.
If you don't make yourself available to vulnerability of that situation, you've not experienced it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is very important to experience life. Sort of like தொட்டு வாழணும். You know, you have to have your feet on the ground to feel
Yeah.
what that feels like, what the friction feels like. You need to burn a little. You need to learn to heal from it. You need to fall. You need to get up. But in recent times, you know, coming back to cinema, I've heard a lot of the young talent. They cannot take failure.
Okay.
They're very sensitive to failure, and a lot of them are on, you know, drugs that will assist them psychologically.
Oh, wow. Okay.
One movie fails and they don't sign the next gig immediately, or even if they have a hit film and they don't get the next one immediately, they're already feeling very threatened.
Okay.
So, and they make a lot of relevant, you know, appearances on social media, and you know, it's all one thing. One thing compensates for the lack of another. You know, so everybody's in some sort of a rat race, but we don't get that far by doing that. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and
To each their
you,
own.
you know, you've reached this far by, I mean, I've never seen you as being part of a rat race because you've been very specific about the things that you do. I don't know, it just comes across it when one looks at your filmography.
Yeah, I
It's
think
not like
I've been-
some super planned, I have to act with this star, that star, this star. That doesn't come across
No,
like.
in the beginning of my career, I did get an opportunity to work with a lot of stars.
Right,
I mean,
right.
of course, in my early
Or even as late as
See, I was-
Janaganamana, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, right, with Prithviraj and
Yes,
all
yes,
that. Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
But I mean, if you look at it, I was 21 when I worked with actors like Mammuka and Lalatin, and you know, I was very young. I was playing roles which felt absolutely unnatural for me. Plus, I was an NRI, so there was a lot of me that was. When Hariharan sir, when director Hariharan had come to, you know, had told me about the first film, which was an accidental landing into cinema.
Right.
My first thing to him was, I'm okay with doing Hollywood films, but not Indian films, you know. Malayalam, yeah, I'm a big fan of yours, so I'll come and meet you. That was my, you know,
Right.
the approach that I had at that time. Mean no disrespect, absolute respect to art. But I did all that when I was much younger. So then one would ask, okay, so what, you know, what are the actors that you want to work with now? but there are still so many
Yeah.
artists that I haven't worked with. And I want to work with so many actors still there in Tamil. I still haven't explored the industry. I think the industry has not explored me.
Yeah.
When it comes to Telugu films, even though I've done 6 films, my entry into industry itself was with Rajamouli sir. There's a part of me that always feels it's now that I understand cinema.
Right.
This is Mamta version 2.0, you know. I wish some of the directors of that time would have worked with me now. This me,
Right.
you know, who knows how to understand characters, someone who knows what to bring to the character, and she's very curious about the character. It's a different person. Back then, I was like a child.
Right.
I had to grow up, do a little of grow. You know, I had a little growing up to do.
Right.
Yeah.
We brought up Telugu Rajamouli. What was it like acting in a fantasy like Yamadonga? You know, just like
This was even before we were really introduced to fantasy films, right? I
Right,
mean,
right.
Rajmouli sir is one of his beginning works into
Yeah.
mythology and
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
such movies. Grand sets, things that I've never seen before.
It was your biggest film till that point, right?
Yeah, it was my biggest. Yeah, I was just it was the 3rd or 4th year of my career.
Yeah.
Still a time when I really questioned, Mamta, what are you doing in this industry? I'm still in that space. So you can imagine I'm literally going to just copy what the director's asking me to do, right? I'm not using my mind to do the role. But grand sets, costumes that I've never worn before, feeling uncomfortable wearing most of the things that I was given. I even threw, you know, even threw a little tantrum on one of the days when I had to wear something really short. Was naturally making me feel very uncomfortable because we had 200 people on the sets. It was not a Malayalam film set, Polela. It was very, very different, very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Dancing in a certain way. These were very unnatural for me. I'm not someone who thought that I would come into cinema. At least there would be a part of me that is preparing myself for it.
Yeah.
Everything was just happening so fast for me. But Rajamouli sir, as a director, very intense, can come off as being a little rude at times, but it is, you know, his, of course, Rama Didi, his wife would be there, you know, Mamta, that's not his intention, you know, he's not, when he's making a film, he's a mad fellow, you know, just put up with him. So I was like, okay, auntie, you know. So, it was very new for me, and there was a lot of learning to do. I still had to grow up from that experience as well. There was
Right.
so much of me that needed to understand cinema in a manner you would try to understand something much better and very differently when you put your mind to doing this for the rest of
Yeah,
your
yeah,
life.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying? When you're thinking about making it a career, your approach changes.
Right.
At this time, I'm not trying to absorb anything. I'm just trying to go with the flow of things. Yes, they asked me to sing Ola Miti Kariginda, which was the original NTR song. So I don't know anything about Telugu industry when I did my first film.
Right.
The biggest pressure, the biggest challenge for me was when Rajamouli sir called me and told me that, Mamta, I'm not going to release the film if you don't dub for your role.
Oh.
So that was like one of the biggest challenges. And I think I cried that day because I was already being stretched in the one and only Kannada film that I did called Ghoulie. And I was going through 16 to 18 hour schedules already every day. And he said, it's okay. After that, after your shoot gets over at night, come and dub. You can dub till morning. 4-5 days, you'll be done. And he actually sent his AD team to Bangalore to get me to dub for Yamadonga. So as much as I was pushed, you know, during that time, I think there was a part of me that was, like I said, experiencing the first fractures of cinema, you know, of what the real challenges are when you're going to work with somebody like someone like Rajamouli, who expects you to deliver exactly what he wants you to deliver as an actor.
Yeah.
So you need to be pushed. Those buttons needed to be pushed by someone.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad that I went through those experiences in the start of my career. That has prepped me better. In my introspection years, I've thought about all these things, about all the initial years of my career, me as a person, my childhood, about my it's good. The pause in life was very good, and I think these intermissions that I've had has really helped me stay this long as well, in the industry and still be relevant.
Yeah.
19th year into the career and still getting roles. Some of them coming to me saying that, Mamta, I think this was kept, we kept you in mind while, while writing this, while developing this. It's a nice thing to hear, and I'm grateful.
So that's exactly it, right? So see, when I see Brahmam, which is the remake of Andhadhun that came on. It was released on OTT directly, right?
Yes.
So when
We spoke shortly
we
after
spoke,
that as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
So
You know,
when
most people, there were a couple of actresses who actually declined to do Brahmam because it had a negative shade.
oh, okay,
It's still happening.
right,
Yeah.
right. No, but I can imagine you choosing to do that film because it's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic, meaty role, and anybody would
Tabu
love to
is
do
just
that, and
awesome.
it's you're an
Yeah.
actor, all that, right?
Yeah.
But then any actor, hero, heroine, whatever it is, unless you're like some super galactic star, you need a mix of you need to do other kinds of films as well, and you're not always going to get the best of roles. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you, but anybody, right?
Anyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So these lesser roles, so to speak, and the last time you were in Tamil, which is Enemy, which is like it was literally one of those. Okay, we need someone to die, and let's have Mamta Mohandas in this role. And I was like, oh my God, you guys just wasted a good actor in this role, which could have been done by anybody. So, and I mean this with a complete respect.
Oh, no, I never take offense.
No,
Yeah.
but what I'm trying to get my head around is, so when it comes to it's like you've got to do one of these movies which where you don't have much scope.
Yeah.
How do you pick that role and say, no, this is not worth it, but maybe this I'll just do? Or like, how do you do that
Well,
calculation?
as honest as I should be with you, at the time I was really looking out to do something in Tamil.
Okay.
And there had to be a film where, I had to okay something.
Right.
So come to Tamil, do something where the production is not too bad. The director is a good, a known person. He had done Nota or something
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
time
yeah, yeah.
in Telugu,
Yeah.
right? And Anand, yes.
Yeah.
And Mini Studios was in a bad banner, and I've worked with Vishal before, and my character was basically paired opposite Arya. So this was about placement or some kind of, let me nudge the audience. Hey, I'm
Nice.
still here.
Okay.
Because at the time I was doing, I'd also heard from a lot of sources when they look for me from Tamil, there's always this wrong information going out saying that, oh, she's not here, she's living in the US, oh, her health is not good. I'm literally in the next state, shooting non-stop. Can't you do some research and like actually get to the right? So that is where, prior to starting the interview, I told you, I always operated, it's just me and my mom. We're trying to, all these years, it's been just the two of us trying to, manage the career. So there's no one to represent me.
You don't have a manager.
No, I didn't
You don't have a
until this
PR.
point. No,
Right.
no.
You have not one now?
Well, now, yeah, I'm kind of like working with Root slowly
Okay.
to kind of get into mainstream and to kind of,
But you
get
are
the feelers
mainstream.
out there. I am like, trying to get into the mainstream here.
Okay.
I think people still think that I'm not around
Yeah.
or I'm not accessible. So I'm going to assign like a point of contact so that, people don't have wrong, a wrong notion. That's not good. That's not healthy.
Right.
Especially, it's very easy for people to see what I get is not her date is unavailable, or what I hear most often coming back to me is, oh, she's not well. She's not
Right.
sick. This is the easiest way to dodge something away from me. Mamta is still sick. I'm not. I could be sick in my head, but
Right.
but
But that's the fracture.
What's a
That's
fracture?
good, yeah.
It's healthy and it's a joke. I humor everything. I humor my health condition as well all the time because that's the way I get by, and I think that's a very, very healthy and powerful way to show up, each and every day. And I want to change that narrative. I am here. I'm doing films. I'm doing multiple films. Am I going to be choosy and selective? It's about time that I am. I don't want to die in every film, like you said.
Yeah.
So Enemy was one such appearance that I made so that I'm working with a good team. And quite obviously, what I would wish after that is someone would know that Mamta is still around. I just wanted to tickle people's minds again. And I did get two more projects after that immediately, quite immediately. We had COVID come after that, and then I was supposed to do a film called Karumegangal Ye Karengiranga. That was Tangar Bachchan's movie. The character was very interesting. I liked it, but it got rescheduled multiple times, and I was already working on a Malayalam. And Modern Families remake was there in Tamil, Telugu. So I was going to do Bharti Raja sir's film. That again, I had literally the 10 days that they were planning to
Modern
shoot.
Love, you mean?
Yeah, Modern Love.
The anthology.
Yes, the
Okay.
anthology.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So Bharati sir had directed one film in
Yeah.
that. So I was going to do that. Um, so those 10 days also literally got scheduled at the time when, because the actor also had to be available, the hero had to be available.
Yeah.
So I'd literally gone to LA. I was still living in LA at the time.
Yeah.
So, so a little bit of this and that is the reason why I had to wait this long to do a film like Maharaja. And hopefully, see, the good thing is I'm doing Maharaja right now. I mean, Maharaja is going to come out right now, and I'm already working on another Tamil film currently. And this
Right.
has never happened in Tamil for me before.
Nice.
So I think it is a real comeback.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Now, the other thing that you said about Maharaja in that, you said that, people usually call me bold and other things, but this film, I was literally in knots by the time it ended, because it made you feel something
Yeah.
emotionally.
Yeah.
Obviously, without giving too much away.
Yeah.
What was that feeling?
Oh, it was just extremely emotional, just extremely. It felt like it had touched some places inside me. Um, when you cry happily, when you cry so much and you cry, you'll enjoy that crying as well,
Yeah,
right? It
yeah.
was just, I was crying for a very long time, almost 20 minutes. I was crying to a point where I'm like, you get that, it's so heavy inside you. There's so
Right.
much that you needed to let out. And it was just a beautiful feeling. And I always feel that I have my emotions figured out as far as watching a cinema is concerned, right? You feel that because you look at films so technically as well, as much as just sitting and watching
Right,
it as an
right.
audience. There's so much of you that is so analytical these days. I think our audience is also very analytical. These are the ones who review our films even before they release, right?
Yeah.
So similar to that, you keep that approach, and because you are sitting in an edit suite and watching this film, and you want to be a little analytical to know if this film is actually going to penetrate.
Yeah.
So you become you toughen up. Hey, I'm going to challenge you. Are you going to make me feel anything? Maharaja just cheered me up completely. It was an experience
Right.
that I haven't felt with a movie in so long. I'm not saying it because it's my movie. When I was doing the film, I did not know the entirety of the route in which it is coming to the climax. I know what the climax is,
Yeah.
but I did not know how it is going to get to the climax, right? So when I watched the film, I thought I knew the story, and still it affected me so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
So I'm very curious to see how it's going to impact the audience who doesn't even know, what to expect from the
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
We've given little snippets. Yes, people think the film is about. A lot of people asked in the interviews as well. Is the film basically about the quest for Lakshmi? But that is just 20-30% of the actual film. But it's a hook.
It's a hook.
Right? The question
Yeah,
is a hook.
that's a very good trailer. And I think I'm someone who tries to go as much as possible with a blank slate, because I know that, however
Yeah.
much you like a director, the movie could go wrong, like you say, or, you might not expect anything from a movie and it could go wonderfully right.
Yeah.
But this particular film, because Nithilan's making a film after such a long time, and because he
What
made,
took you 6-7 years?
yeah,
right?
and because Kurungu Mama is such an experience,
Yeah.
and because Vijay Sethupathi is in this
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
somehow I'm so pumped about it.
Anurag Kashyap.
Yeah, Anurag. So I'm really pumped about it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, just breathe. Just see it like a normal movie, just like I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get at that point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so yeah.
I remember the way I spoke at that time. My friends during that time used to always tell me, Mamta, you should be writing. There was a film called Arundhati, which, I was supposed to do. He just throws this bomb on me saying, Mamta, you made the biggest mistake of your career. And this is Rajamouli sir telling me this.
You use, the word I'm
I
going
know
to.
it.
You know,
I know
you
it.
know the
Yes,
word.
yes.
Hola! Your train vacation to Europe starts from rupees 99,999 only with GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.